Okay, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here this Tuesday morning. And this is, of course, the network breakfast, and you see all our members, our contestants for today's competition. We're all standing by to tell you who we are, and then we'll continue on with things to consider when you buy a new computer. So let's get started. And we're going to say good morning to one of our favorites, and he wasn't here last week, and we did miss him. And we know who that is. Good morning, Jeff Hexter.
I figured it was Trina.
Well, we missed her too.
I'm Jeff Hexter with Always Keep Computing. I work with professionals working from home who have their technology problems, and that means their Wi-Fi is not working, their printers aren't printing, their email's not sending, they don't know who to call. And I'd love an introduction to the people you know that work from their homes. I had an interesting call this past week. A person's father passed away, and they had their old desktop computer. They didn't know what to do with it. They wanted to make sure it just got securely erased and then recycled so that it didn't end up with their data available to somebody else. And of course, I do that all the time. If you know anybody that's got an old computer sitting in the closet, they don't know what to do with it, I'm happy to recycle it for them. I will securely erase the drive and then destroy it. If I can't erase it, I'll destroy it, and then I'll turn it in for recycling so that it's not gathering dust anymore. Jeff Hexter, Always Keep Computing.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. And as always, thanks for being here. We're going to say good morning to Chris Walters. We're glad to see him as well. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Chris Walters with See-Through Windows. I provide vinyl replacement windows and patio doors and glass block. I cover a territory from Fort Clinton to the Pennsylvania border, Cleveland to Canton. Right now, everybody's scrambling because we're getting into the fall. People want to replace their windows, and now it's just become a quagmire of who can get it done and when we can get it done. So just give me a call, 330-604-0403, and I'll help you out. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chris. I'm sure you will. Vinyl windows, wholesale vinyl windows and doors.
Correct.
Okay. Good morning to Scott Morrison, our resident master photographer, the absolute best there is for as far as the eye can see. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, everybody. As he said, my name is Scott Morrison. My company is Discovery Photo. I'm a full-time, full-service photographer, have been for 30 years now. I can't even believe it myself. We do everything from legal, corporate, industrial, architectural. We do weddings. We do corporate headshots, modeling portfolios. I also am very active within the movie industry, and I have two big feature films that we'll be filming here in Cleveland, one in September, one in October. I'll be working on them as a gaffer. So that'll be the lighting guy for both of those two feature films. That's about what I do. Scott Morrison, Discovery Photo, when image counts.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for being here. Good morning to Mike Bentley. Ask Mike. And here he goes. Let's hear from Mike one more time.
Great to be with you all. I'm Mike Bentley from the Brooks and Stafford Company, and I am here to answer your questions concerning healthcare, whether it is transitioning from an employer plan, wanting to know more about COBRA coverage. Maybe you're ready to graduate to Medicare and you're being overwhelmed by the number of marketing materials that you're getting in the mail. Whatever your question might be, give me a call. Mike Bentley from the Brooks and Stafford Company. And I also want to say concerning Chris Walters, they do great patio doors as well as windows as well. So if you're in need of a patio door, call Chris at See-Through Windows and Patio Doors.
Great.
Thank you, Mike.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your expertise. Good morning to Trina Gigax, the lovely and talented Trina. We're going to hear from her right now. Good morning.
Morning, everybody. I'm Trina Gigax. My company is Fresh Eyes Reading. I'm a copy editor, copywriter, freelance. So I work on writing that either other people need help with, or they aren't satisfied with it, or my favorite kind of person, they just don't want to do it at all, or they don't think they're good with it. So I work on web content, newsletters, emails, brochures, blogs, all kinds of stuff. So if you need help with that, Trina from Fresh Eyes Reading.
Wonderful. Thank you, Trina. Thanks for being here. So glad to have you here with us today. Good morning to Rob Lord. He's going to tell us what's happening for at least a minute. Thank you, Rob.
Good morning, everyone. Rob Lord here at Thrivent Financial. So we're a full financial company, and we're noticing right now, especially with the COVID, a lot of people are taking their finances a lot more seriously. So we can help you out with that and give you the guidance if it's just from protection side, like your life insurance, long-term care, to looking at retiring early because you're just done with it all. We can help you. Call me, Rob Lord, Thrivent.
Excellent. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for being here. And now we're going to hear from, we can see his wonderful picture there, the handsome and always available for us for questions about credit and reverse mortgages and things. We're going to say good morning, and we're going to hear from Ray Antonelli. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, everyone. Ray Antonelli. I specialize in two areas. Number one is reverse mortgages for seniors, and also I'm a credit expert. I actually teach classes on both of those items at local places in Cleveland, one in Lakewood, one at the Polaris Center in Middleburg Heights, once a quarter. The reverse mortgage is very interesting because it's a product that only qualifies for seniors. Seniors have to be at least 62 years of age or older. And the neat thing about a reverse mortgage is that they don't have to pay the mortgage back. However, many seniors say that the bank wants my home. That's the biggest myth about a reverse mortgage. And it's obviously untrue. The senior still has title to the home while they have a reverse mortgage. They still have to pay the taxes and the insurance because they still own the home. And the thing that proves this is that if the senior decides to sell the home and move to Florida because they want to get away from the winters here in Cleveland, or if they happen to pass, then the mortgage gets paid off and whatever is left over goes to their heirs, because a reverse mortgage is just a mortgage, nothing else. It's just a mortgage. With that, if there's any questions about it, don't hesitate to call me, 216-337-7520. Back to you, Tom.
Excellent. Thank you, Ray. Thanks for being here. Thanks for providing us with a picture so we could see your face as you speak to us. Thanks. Okay, now we're going to, I'm going to put up a PowerPoint presentation about things to consider when buying a computer. You walk into the store and there are a multitude of computers. Maybe you haven't even made a decision about whether it's a laptop or a desktop, or if it is a laptop, what size it is. And you'll have to pick the size of the monitor, things like that. So we're going to go over all of that, and we'll accomplish that right now. I'm going to share my screen. And at this moment, we'll see this. If you're thinking about a new computer, things you need to look for when buying a new computer. And off the bat here, I'll say special thanks to Francis Navarro from commando.com. I use that resource occasionally, and it provides a lot of information. So now we're going to see.
Looks like Micro Center.
It is. Wow, good eye. That's my warehouse. I'm there almost, I don't want to say every day, but I'll bet you 4 times a week or more. They keep all my inventory ready for me to purchase and deliver. So that is my good eye, Scott. Of course, you were just there not too long ago.
I was, yeah.
And that's the way they present things. But when you walk into the store, and unless you have a firm idea of what you're after, just look at that. And this is like 1/16 of all there is to look at when you walk into the store. Yeah. So if you can arm yourself with certain things to think of before you even consider getting to the store, it doesn't have to be Micro Center, could be online, could be Best Buy, Target, Staples. They all sell machines and monitors and printers and things like that. So we're going to say things you need to look for when buying a new computer. Are you in the market for a new computer? With all the geeky jargon and specs being thrown around, it can be quite confusing. Nowadays, there are many reasonably priced budget laptops on the market. With the power of modern hardware, they can even provide a decent computing experience without completely draining your wallet. The trick is in finding the right balance between cost and your needs. Choosing the right computer can be challenging. This list will help you. Here are the most important specs and details you need to keep your eye on when making a computer purchase. The first thing is, and I would consider probably the most important, is RAM. People think that they're buying a lesser cost computer. It's usually because there's less RAM. And this will explain it. RAM is short for random access memory, not to be confused with storage, like a hard drive. RAM is where active data from your applications and system processes are stored. Think of RAM as the temporary canvas or scratch pad where a computer does its real-time calculations and operations. With today's memory-hungry applications and web browsers, computers need more RAM than ever before. If you tend to use multiple open apps at the same time, then the more RAM your computer has, the better. With enough RAM, you can run more applications simultaneously and have more open browser tabs before your computer bogs down. Although Windows 10 requires a minimum of 1 gigabyte on a 32-bit machine and 2 gigabytes on a 64-bit machine, whereas Mac OS requires 2 gigs minimum, that's not nearly enough for a smooth experience. If you're shopping around for a new computer, always go for at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. If you're planning on multitasking and doing more on your computer than everyday tasks, shoot for at least 16 gigabytes. The processor. Processors keep getting more efficient and powerful with each yearly upgrade, but Intel always has easily recognizable performance tiers to choose from depending on your needs. As usual, Intel's entry-level Core i3 chips are the cheapest but least powerful processors available. If you're looking for a sub-$500 computer that will do basic computing tasks, then the Core i3 line should be ample enough. The mid-range Core i5 chips are suitable for people who want a good balance between performance and cost. If you're on a budget, but you still need ample speed for power usage, shoot for a computer with an i5 chip at least. Computers with Core i7 and i9 chips are more expensive, but professionals who don't have the time for loading and rendering screens will appreciate the power that these processors bring to the table. If money is no object, you're looking for the absolute best computer you could buy, don't settle for anything less than a Core i7 chip. Also, keep in mind that the latest generation chips are typically more powerful and efficient than their predecessors. For example, Intel's current 8th generation chips have at least 4 cores, so they're faster, but less power hungry than their equivalent 7th generation counterparts. Storage. Currently, there are 2 types of computer storage types to choose from. There's a hard disk drive and solid state drive. HDDs still use rapidly spinning magnetic disks called platters to store information, while SSDs, solid state drives, use flash memory similar to what smartphones and tablets use. Computers with SSDs are more expensive, but their read and write rates are much faster than computers with conventional hard disk drives. SSDs don't have moving parts, so they're lighter, cooler, quieter, more efficient, and are harder to damage than a conventional drive. With these advantages, always choose a computer with a solid-state drive over one with a conventional hard drive. They might be more expensive, but their speed and efficiency are definitely worth the difference. Some computers combine the best of both worlds with hybrid drives. These combine a small solid-state drive and a large hard disk drive in a single package. While hybrids aren't as fast as true SSDs, they are less expensive and hold more. Of course, As SSD prices continue to drop and sizes increase, hybrids will eventually disappear. On the other hand, storage capacity depends on your needs. As usual, the bigger the drive, the more expensive a computer will be. The good news is that you can always expand your storage space with a memory card, external drive, or even replace the entire drive if needed. You could also use cloud storage in addition to your local drive. Screen size. Screen size is mostly a decision you'll have to make if you're buying a laptop. Laptop displays typically range between 11 and 17 inches. And if you're planning on running multiple windows, the extra screen real estate will make a big difference. However, keep in mind that the bigger the screen, the less portable a laptop will be. Bigger screen laptops will also have less battery life, so take that into consideration when choosing one. With desktops, portability and battery life obviously doesn't matter, but most people choose 24-inch or larger monitors. The resolution. It depends on your preferences and budget, but no matter what the size, your display's resolution will determine how sharp your screen will appear. Most budget laptops only come in 720p. Decent enough for smaller display sizes, but aim for at least a 1080p, which has a 1920 by 1080 display. High-end computers typically come with ultra high definition 4K displays. As usual, they are more expensive. Just like with our televisions these days. Used to be 720 was the standard, then 1080p, now 4K is the standard. And for some folks, the higher resolution of 8K or some of the others that are very, very expensive. Right now, for a Mac, you can get Retina display, which is incredible. Size and weight. Obviously, the size and weight of desktops don't matter that much, but for laptops, portability can be a big factor. Lugging around a big and heavy laptop can be a hassle. So if you're planning on taking your laptop with you all the time, pick one that has a 13-inch screen or smaller. Looking for the ultimate in portability? Some high-end laptops called Ultrabooks can be amazingly slim and light. However, if you're on a budget and still prefer performance over portability, a thicker and heavier laptop will typically give you more bang for your buck. The operating system. You've had a question on your mind for years, maybe even decades, PC or Mac. The good news is that both operating systems have improved over the years, and it just depends on how you're using your PC or laptop. To some people, the lines between the two operating systems keep blurring with each update. Creative professionals have traditionally used Macs for years, and they tend to stick with the programs that they're familiar with. So Apple computers are more popular with video and graphics editors. If you're deep in the Apple ecosystem and use an iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch, you'll also appreciate how all these gadgets work together. However, you can get a similarly spec'd PC for a much lower price point, and that's one thing that the Windows machines have: cost. Windows is still widely used in the workplace too, and a lot of people are comfortable with it. Again, it all depends on what programs and user interfaces you prefer. Alternatively, if you feel adventurous, you can explore other operating systems like the Chrome OS on Chromebooks, or even Linux. Connectivity. There are tons of connection options nowadays, and they keep evolving, so it can be quite confusing. To future-proof your purchase, look for a USB-C, USB 3, iPorts, and at least 801.1 AC on the Wi-Fi side. Now, what that means is the AC designation is the fastest 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi there is. And I got a little background on that. So when you're looking for your machine, if it's less expensive, it's probably going to be one of the ones that provides a slower Wi-Fi connection, which is designated as an A, which has long since been discontinued, B, G, and N, or Wi-Fi A, B, G, N, and then the high speed is AC. So look for that AC when you look for your laptop to make sure you get that high speed to use all the speed that your internet service provider is giving you. I have Spectrum, and recently they've upgraded to 200 megabits, and all of my machines have the 5 gigahertz AC, and I'm getting way over 200 megabits on all my machines that I use for internet. Okay, move on. Price. At the end of the day, it still all boils down to how much you're willing to spend. If you're only planning on using your computer to browse the web, send emails, and watch the occasional video, then you could get away with a cheaper computer. Remember, nowadays, even the cheapest ones are powerful enough to run everyday tasks. If you will depend on your computer for work, aim for at least a mid-ranged one. They might cost more, but you'll appreciate the speed and the time you'll save. As a general rule, the better the performance, the more expensive a computer will be. Assess your budget and how you'll be using your machine. Hopefully, these tips, you'll find the right balance between price and performance. So, summation. At the end of the day, it still boils down to how much you're willing to spend. If you're going to use for work, try to get a mid-ranged one. They might cost more, but you'll appreciate the speed and the time you'll save. As a suggestion, here is a best value for the money that I found. It was at Micro Center. I checked them, and unfortunately, right this minute, they're sold out. But I wanted to tell you what my choice for an ultra inexpensive laptop that still is pretty darn nice. This is available at Micro Center. You'll see that it has an Intel Core i3 10th generation, 2 gigahertz processor. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 256 gigabyte solid state drive. It has ultra high definition graphics. It comes with that Windows 10 Home in S mode. And I told you S mode, they want you to only use Microsoft approved and Microsoft Store apps, but we can get around that if you choose to get this. And then it has multi-format SD media card reader. And it has the wireless. You'll see that it has the AC. So if you have 200 megabits at your house, you'll get very fast wireless and Bluetooth. And also it's 15.6 inches. So it's not the smallest screen like they recommended the 13-inch screen if you're moving around, but this is pretty light. And I put up the SKU and the manufacturer's part number and the UPC code, and Micro Center for $399.99. Unfortunately, they're sold out. I checked at Best Buy for this exact same model, and it was $453. So let's hope Micro Center gets a bunch more of these in. And if any of you need a laptop that you want to give away or for your kids, this is plenty powerful enough. It has enough RAM, enough hard drive space. It has the high-speed Wi-Fi, and it's a darn nice computer for a 15.6 inch, and it's $399. So there's my my take on what you could get. I didn't put one for the high end because that's no real trick. If you walk into a store with $1,200 to spend, you're going to walk out with a darn nice computer, whether it's desktop, laptop, Mac, whatever. So that's not the trick. If you have money, you're always going to get a nice machine. If you want to save money and you get a machine that's less than $400 or right at the $400 price point, this is the one to look at. I think it's also a name brand. So there you have it. And there it is. And we're coming up to bang. Thank you very much. I'm wrapping it up. And again, special thanks to Francis Navarro from commando.com. And I appreciate your kind attention. Anybody have any questions? I was going to put in our
I have a comment to make.
email blast yesterday that there'll be 2 staff members at hand to answer any questions. Of course, I was referring to Jeff and myself, but we can let Jeff handle all these questions. And we're going to recognize Ray. Yes, Ray. Hello, Ray. Ray? Oh.
Ray's on mute.
Uh-huh. Ray,
Can you hear me?
now we can. Yes,
Okay,
go ahead,
got it.
Ray. Go ahead.
All right. The comment I wanted to make was,
Yeah.
as Tom suggested,
Oh,
when you spend $1,200 or so on a laptop or a desktop, you get a good machine.
yeah.
And I was able to purchase one, I don't know, 9 months ago or so. It is a laptop and the lid is closed. And I'm on a big screen monitor, which is why you can't see me, because there's no Logitech cam or whatnot. But the real comment I wanted to make was the fact that the previous PC I had a Core i5 processor and 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I thought that was enough for me, but it turned out it wasn't. I now enjoy the benefit of 32 gigabytes of RAM with my laptop. And the reason that's important for me, as Tom pointed out, there are a lot of things on a computer that use a lot of RAM. And one of those are tabs in Chrome. Chrome is very RAM hungry. And I have a bunch of tabs open. And when I only had a 16 gigabyte desktop PC, my computer constantly crashed, blue screened or other problems with it. And that is now a thing of the past for me because I invested in 32 gigabytes of RAM for my laptop, and I can have multiple tabs open and never crash the computer.
Very good. Well, it was nice that you were willing to go out and spend the money to get 32 gigabytes of RAM. There are other solutions. For example, if you would have maybe put a solid state drive into that machine, you might have solved most of those issues, because all browsers are RAM hungry when you want to surf the internet. Internet is RAM hungry, no matter what browser you use. If you're going to have a lot of tabs open, a lot of RAM will help you. In lieu of that, when your computer runs out of the available RAM, it will use a virtual RAM created using your hard drive. And if you have a standard plate magnetic hard drive, it's way slower than any RAM memory could be. But if you use a solid state drive, it's closer to the speed that the RAM is. For example, not too long ago, I put in a solid state drive in Chris's desktop, and we cloned the drive, and then I put it in there, and he has probably 8 gigabytes of RAM, but the solid state drive sped up his computer to a very modern speed. And I was going to ask him if he's still happy with the performance of his solid state hard drive.
Absolutely. That's the best thing that we ever did.
Yeah, it really does make a nice difference. And I didn't even buy the fastest one. I got the reasonably priced 1 terabyte Samsung hard drive, solid state drive. And yet it's so much nicer than using a standard plate magnetic hard drive that has spinning plates with arms. It reads it like a old playing record. But anyway, your older machine, if you feel like tinkering with it, you might try cloning and replacing your hard drive with a solid state drive, and you can put that machine back into service, and you'll notice that your internet will run much better, and so will all your programs. Ray. Okay, anybody else have any comments or questions about new computers
I do. Tom, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So when I purchased a new computer last week,
Yeah, nice.
I kind of knew what I wanted, but then the salesman said, "Oh, you need a VPN. You need to get the protection. You need to get the extended warranty." He
Yeah,
had 5 or 6 other things that
Yeah.
he had to sell me.
yeah.
Are any of those worthwhile?
Well, they're gonna upsell as much as they can. The profit margin in computers is so slim. It's right around where supermarkets are. Supermarkets go through hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and they actually only make 1 or 2% in profit. And the same is true with computers. When they sell a computer for $400, and you go in there and buy a computer for $400, with the salesman meetings, they say, please try to get them to put on, and I think they push the ESET NOD 32 or something similar, and they try to get you to do a 2-year, 3-year warranty extension, and also the VPN business, because VPN has become big because supposedly it gets you behind. Now, I use a VPN, and so does Jeff. We use 2 different companies because I've been with IPVanish for 1,000,000 years. So I just continue on with them because there was never been an issue with them. I don't know that they're cheaper or more expensive. I just keep renewing. So I don't do any of that stuff at the store. No, I don't, including extended warranties. That could also be because I can fix most things myself, or if I'm buying it for a customer, I will support the machine long past its 1-year anniversary from when we purchase it. So when you use a person like me or Jeff, and you have somebody that'll stand behind it or figure out what's going on, you're less likely to need to pile on all those things for safety. But it falls into the same category as buying like home insurance or the extra car shield insurance, getting AAA, things like that. I prefer not getting anything added onto the computer. Just sell me the hardware and pay tax if you have to. And I do the rest on my own. But that doesn't mean that if you bought a machine and you paid $1,200 for it, and they'll charge you $49 for 2 more years of it, may be a wise purchase. So I don't want to blanketly say, no, don't do it. But if you're getting a machine that is upwards of, say, $700 or more, I might consider getting an extra. I think what they do is you get 1 year, and if you buy 2, they'll move it out to 3 years total. It might be worth the minimum amount. I think it's based on how much the computer cost.
Yes.
If in fact you don't want to fix it yourself and you don't have anybody in the business, although you know both me and Jeff who could fix most things in this way, rather than like a hard drive, it might not be worth it, because hard drives, motherboards, because motherboards can, if they're relatively new, can be quite expensive still, maybe half the cost of the laptop. So it might be worth it to get it in that case. So I don't want to blanketly say no, but in most cases, I don't do it. And good luck with all your new equipment, Scott.
Thank you.
You won't need anything for years and years.
No. Oh, one was for me, one was not. One was for my photo partner.
Okay.
And she needed a new desktop.
Yeah.
So, and then my laptop died, and so I ended up fixing it, but we ended up buying a new one anyways.
Sure. And the desktop, what did you go after? What chip did you get?
We got the i7. So we had requirements. We wanted an i7, 32 gig of RAM,
Wow.
and 1 terabyte solid state. Those
See?
were our specs.
Yeah, and
And
that's going to
so-
be a darn nice machine. And you
So-
paid. Can you divulge?
Sure. It was $1,500.
Sure.
It was on sale. It was normally $2,100. but it was on sale for 1,500. That's how we chose that one.
Okay, and
Um,
name brand, I'm guessing?
Power Spec, a Power Spec.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It
You
was a
said that before.
I have it right here. It's a G360.
Uh-huh,
It had the i7 10700 processor, 16 meg L3 cache. It had, it was a AS Rock Phantom Gaming 4-time AX systems board. It had the ADM 6700 XT video card.
and how much, did it say how much RAM the video had?
12 gig.
Oh, my goodness.
Has a 12 gig.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's a gamer. That machine is a
Right.
gamer.
Well, this is for Photoshop editing. So
Yeah,
we
oh.
needed, so we needed, the
Yeah.
i7, we needed 32 gig of RAM, and that we also added two 14 terabyte drives in a RAID system for storage.
Oh, boy.
So
And all of that was 15?
no, but everything except for the two drives.
Except for
The
the
two
drives,
drives were
okay.
separate, and we added those once we got it.
Okay, sure.
So it was 1,500 for that, but it was normally 21.99.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good size case to
It's
allow
a giant
two
case, yes.
extra,
It's
to
a- it's a
allow
full
two
size.
extra hard drives in it, right?
Yeah, it could hold, I think, 6 extra hard drives.
Oh, my,
There was
sure.
space for 6 more,
Yeah,
or 6 total. We just put 2 and we set it, as a RAID, so she has backup, which
mhm,
is very similar to what I have here.
sure.
So,
Terrific.
yeah. And then the laptop was a Dell, and that was also i7 32 gig of RAM with 1 terabyte hard solid state storage. And
Yeah,
that was a Dell. And that was $1,000.
yeah. And it's also, the performance is way up there. You got to be really happy with it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so far it's taken a couple days to get it up to speed,
Uh-huh.
but it's working really well. Very happy with it.
Good, good. Very nice. Yeah, we had a good time updating Chris's machine. It went almost flawlessly. Brought the drive over. I used Macrium Reflect, and it clones the drive just without incident at all. And then I replaced the old 3.5-inch hard drive with the 2.5-inch solid state drive, and I got a little frame for it so that it would fit in the same spot, and it just changed the whole complexion of the computer. It boots up in seconds, 10 or
Look at that
15,
again.
20 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing when you put
Yeah.
those in. And also with my PC here, we put the P2s in. I have two P2 slots. So those are, used for like backup and storage and things
Yeah.
like that, like additional RAM or something for stuff. And that, those are amazing.
Well, our issue was we're using Chris's original computer, which he's had for probably, I'm guessing, 6 or 7 years, Chris.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Windows 7 machine. Now it's Windows 10. And with
Yeah.
the solid state drive, it gave it a whole new life. And he'll, barring some unforeseen, it'll last another 10 years. He won't need another computer.
Yeah. Yeah. My laptop was 8 years old. So when it died, it was like, should I
Yeah.
fix it?
Well, sure.
And so I just got the data off of it. I pulled the hard drive out
Yeah,
and
that happens. I mean, sometimes, the motherboards, they do go bad, or the RAM
Right.
chips go bad. And to replace any of that on an 8-year-old machine is probably counterproductive.
Correct. That's kind of what we thought, even though it was a good laptop.
Sure.
Yeah, but it was getting no power, so it was probably a motherboard issue. So
Yeah, right.
That was
Or
what you
power
texted me
supply.
about. Was that what you wrote to me about?
yeah, and we checked the power supply. The power supply was fine,
Okay.
and so it's like, all right, let's open it up. And we opened it up and pulled the hard drive, and
Did you take to my guy?
I didn't, because we just said 8 years old. We're just gonna replace it.
Makes sense.
And we kind of thought about it and said, all right, let's see what's out there. But 8 years, that's kind of old for a laptop, so.
Yeah, 3 years is old for a laptop, but they would have given you a free diagnostic. They would have said, don't bother to fix it. Here, your
Right, and that's kind of what we figured, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think they would even have parts for it except for the, replace the hard drive, but it wasn't the hard drive.
Actually, you can get a lot of aftermarket. You buy a used machine on eBay and pull the parts that work for your machine to rebuild.
Right.
Yeah.
They could do that. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, we got all the data off of it. That was the important thing. And moving on.
Good. Okay, Jeff, I want you to chime in here before we're done.
Well, I put in the chat the link to the really nice desktop, the G360 that he bought, and it's still, even at $1,600, it's still more expensive than it would have been before the prices blew up, because that Radeon video card shouldn't have been as expensive as it was for a component, because there's such demand on those. And I wish that machine were closer to $1,200 than $1,600. In any case, it's a really nice build. It's 10th generation. Now, the articles talked about 8th generation and 7th generation processors. They're up to the 10th and 11th in the Intel processor. So it didn't talk a single bit about the AMD competition to Intel for processors. It was interesting how their categories, I took notes about RAM, processor, storage, screen size, resolution, size and weight, operating system, connectivity, and those categories were very similar to the things that I shared with you in my little article. And when I talked about the 4 things you want to maximize: RAM, storage, speed of the processor, and size of the screen, the simple rules of thumb. The Core i3 laptop that you found for $400 with 250 gigs of solid state storage, I found that 250 gigs is too small for most people if they have pictures. So,
well, like it says in the presentation, you can add, put an SD card in, put an external drive, put it on a jump drive, something like that.
And a 720p screen is too low resolution if you have pictures. That was a 720. That was a 1366 by 768 screen. So you're getting an underpowered i3 with a dual core, and if you're doing any kind of manipulation of any kind of data, dual core is just underpowered today. So you're getting a machine that's going to disappoint at $400.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going to have to, but it will operate with 8 gigs of RAM and a solid state drive. It will operate okay.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's not going to be a barn burner. It's not going to be the largest horse in the barn, but it will get you by when people say, all I do is do email and I surf the internet and maybe an occasional YouTube video.
I just think that at that price, I'd be better served by buying a refurbished Core i7 with larger storage.
Some folks are leery about getting recertified or renewed or although when you buy it at Micro Center, they will stand behind it. Things that are returned and they go over them and then resell them. I mean, I buy a lot of that stuff and resell it. In our business, I'm known as a VAR, a value added reseller. I'm willing to take a chance. Yes, I add the value, meaning I'll stand behind it. And we save hundreds off of laptops and desktops and monitors and things like that.
Other than that, what you spec'd was decent. I tend to move into the $600 laptops because they have the larger storage and the i5s rather than i3s.
Sure. But I was looking for the absolute budget for that kind of dough. And I have one of those that I upgraded their laptop and they said, here, just take this because the hard drive didn't work no more. So I put in a ultra inland solid state drive that was like $40 or something. And I just got it running again. And it's great. Yeah. For being i3 with, I think it has 4 gigabytes of RAM, but now it's got a solid state drive. it's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't want to do any work on it, but to sit with your lap and just go on the internet or get your emails, it works okay. And that was what it was for.
All right.
Yeah. And for me, I do photo editing. And so I needed, the extra power and,
Right.
there were minimums, and those were the minimums that I
Yeah.
wanted to get.
I certainly would have never recommended any of
Yeah.
those to you. And I don't
Right.
recommend them for me either. I have three laptops, three 17-inch laptops, all with a ton of RAM and
Yeah.
solid state drives and i7 chips. And
Yeah.
I have a 27-inch Dell touchscreen all in one with 16 gigabytes of RAM and an i7 chip. So I go for power.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But that's when you do what I do, when I spend so much time in front of
Right.
it, I want to click and go. I cannot. I mean,
agree.
here it is. It's 10 after 2 a.m. in the morning, and I got to finish something for a website that they want to look at it at 10 in the morning with me in the office. And here I am clicking and editing and things like that. And I just can't click and wait. I can't.
Yeah.
So I got to have high powered stuff, much as you do, Scott.
Yeah. But-
Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. We went a little bit over, but that's okay. Thanks a lot, YouTube, for watching till the end. It was nice conversation. Wonderful, wonderful people that joined us this morning. And we're going to talk to you again next Tuesday, okay? All right, I'm looking right at the camera. I got to get used to looking at the camera. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next Tuesday morning. Thank you. Bye.